Hello everyone and welcome to the CMigrator Webinar. Today's webinar is going to help you to migrate a site from WordPress or Drupal to Joomla. And if you've made the mistake of choosing the wrong CMS in the past, now we all know Joomla is superior, but if you've chosen WordPress or Drupal in the past, don't worry, CMigrator is a tool that gives you the option to switch to Joomla with ease. With CMigrator from CompoJoom, you can import your categories, posts, pages, and users from WordPress or Drupal directly into Joomla with just a few clicks. All of your content, again, categories, articles, and images, will end up exactly where they are supposed to be. Also, you have the ability to import data no matter how big your database is. Now, during the webinar, you're going to learn how to install and configure CMigrator into your Joomla site. You'll learn how to migrate the data from your WordPress website into Joomla. And you'll learn how to migrate images and remove incompatible WordPress tags. Please stick around for a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. The presenter is going to stick around and I'll help moderate those questions to him. There is a slide out GoToMeeting question area. Post that question if something occurs to you. We won't answer it right on the spot, but we'll get to it at the end of the presentation. And we'll also show you how to follow up with Daniel, the presenter, to ask additional questions. Show you a few options to find him online. Your presenter today is Daniel Dimitrov, and he is the founder and lead developer of CMigrator, of the CMigrator component, and other CompoJoom components. I'll show you Daniel's site here in just a moment. I am also going to give you a very brief introduction to our company, CloudAccess.net. We are the official and exclusive host of the demo trial of Joomla at demo.joomla.org. Joomla chose us in April of 2010, 3 years ago this month, to be that official host because our entire company, from servers to support people, is set up specifically for Joomla. It's the only content management system we work with, and everyone here is very knowledgeable with it. We're unique because we provide that free demo trial that's live for 30 days. We offer free training and a lot of different ways to teach you how to use Joomla, but we're also on the phone. We have a support staff that is standing by on the phone ready to help you as you develop your Joomla site. Just a reminder that I am recording today's webinar. I am going to post this to our YouTube channel, which I will show you in just a moment, youtube.com/cloudaccess. I'm going to go ahead and exit this presentation and show you that YouTube channel now, youtube.com/cloudaccess. We are going to be posting this video in this playlist later, special Joomla webinars. You can open it up, watch it again, record or rewind, fast forward, pause, refresh yourself on the information that Daniel is going to cover. Now, Daniel is joining us today from Heidelberg, Germany, and not too far away from Szczecin, Poland, where we have an office, and CloudAccess.net Poland. And again, you can follow up with Daniel by going to compojoom.com and using the contact form here, learn about all of his great components, or visit him on Facebook. Leave him a message. And remember, if you do become one of his clients, there's a great support system there for you. So, hey, Daniel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm going to say good morning, but it's not morning where you are.
It's actually afternoon, so
yeah. Well,
good morning to you and good afternoon to everybody else.
Yeah, good afternoon. So we had 47 people register for today's webinar. I'm going to go ahead and pass the presentation over to you to get started.
Okay, great. So, can you see my screen?
I can, yep.
All right, great. So before I start and show you how to migrate your WordPress website, I want to tell you a little bit of the history behind CMigrator. 2 years ago, I had a friend who wanted to migrate a WordPress website, and back then there was no good solution for this. There was actually an extension in the Joomla directory that was able to do it, but the result was not that good enough. So this is when I started, and I developed a CMigrator component. At the beginning it was very simple. It could only migrate the content, and with the time and after user suggestions, we added user migration, we added content parsing, and a lot of other features that I'm going to show you today. We are going to work on a simple WordPress website. It has just 4 posts, I think. We have a post with a caption, a normal post with a read more link, and a blog quote, a post with a few images in it. And yeah, so the first thing that we need to do when we want to migrate our WordPress website is to copy the WordPress tables in our Joomla database. So for this presentation, I've started a demo instance with CloudAccess. CMigrator CloudAccess.net. And I'm going to add this, the data of this WordPress website to this instance over here. The thing is, CMigrator cannot migrate your template. It can only migrate your data. This is for most people. This is not a problem, as Joomla has a lot of templates. But I wanted to tell you this up front. So, if you're a client with CloudAccess, as I am, you have your control panel. And over here I have my CMigrator CloudAccess.net instance. I will go to the control panel for this instance, and over here to the MySQL tab I can log in into PHPMyAdmin. Our WordPress website is hosted on my local host, so first I need to get the data from it, and I'll log again with PHPMyAdmin into the WordPress database, and once I'm in the database, I'll just go to the Export tab. I'll export all the database, save it on my computer. So now that I have the SQL dump with all the data, I can go to CloudAccess, and I can go to the Import tab, and I can import my data. So our WordPress database was imported. You can see it down here. It has the WP underscore prefix. So the first thing of the preparation for the migration is complete. We can now go ahead. I will log into my Joomla website that I've created with CloudAccess. So this is the backend of my Joomla website. It's running 3.0, Joomla 3.0. And the first thing obviously is to install the CMigrator extension. So you can get the extension over at compujoom.com. Once you become a subscriber, once you have an active subscription, you will have access to the download area for CMigrator. You can go over to Downloads, CMigrator, and the latest version is always on top. This is the version that I released 2 hours ago. So let us download it. Now we can go to our backend and install the component. There we go. The component is installed, and we also install an authentication plugin, and I'll explain you how to use this one a little bit later. So now let us see what our plugin has, or what our extension has. Once we're on this screen, the first thing obviously is to create a migration configuration. CMigrator currently can migrate from WordPress and Drupal. For this presentation, we will migrate from WordPress. And it can also migrate in the default Joomla content component, and it also can migrate the data into the Joomla component called K2. With Joomla 2.5, when you migrate the data from WordPress, there is no way to migrate your tags. So that's why we created the import to K2, because K2 supports tags migration. Now with Joomla 3.1, there is a default tag component, and we're planning to drop support for K2 and just leave it to content. But right now on Joomla 2.5 and 3.0 we don't migrate the tags. So I'll click over here to create new configuration. So we need to have a name, call it WordPress to Joomla. The database prefix, this is the database prefix for the WordPress tables. So in our case, the database prefix is WP_. So we go over here to our website, we'll type the_, and here you have different options. So like you can import the categories, the content, the tags. When you import in the default Joomla component, the tags are also imported, but they are put as meta keywords and not as tags, because Joomla doesn't support this. You can import the user groups and the users from your WordPress website. You can also import comments if you have installed our extension CComment. You can find that one over here at Downloads, CComment. If you install it on your website, then this option will be available for you. And the last one, Clean Migration. This option defines if when you start installation, we normally delete all the data in the database. So all your articles, users, categories will be deleted, and then the new categories from WordPress will be imported. If you don't want to do this, you can leave this option to no, but we generally suggest that you set this to yes. I'll explain you what this option here does a little bit later. For now, I'll just save this, and I'll go to the migrate step. You have to select the configuration over here. And here you have the options that you've selected in the configuration. We can click on the migrate button. And the migration starts on. The users were imported, the categories, now the content, the tags, and comments are disabled. After the migration is complete, you get a screen like this. If anything went wrong, you have a message with the ID of the WordPress article that couldn't be imported over here. So now let us go over to content and have a quick look. There we have it. We have our articles from our WordPress website. We have the header word, the other few posts, and we also have the drafts that we have in our WordPress website. We migrate those for you so you can decide what to do with them a little bit later. They are placed in a special category called uncategorized posts. You can, if you don't need them, you can delete them later or do whatever you want with them. So let us have a look at our users. As you know, as you saw, we also migrate the users. In this case, the administrator user that was on the WordPress website was also migrated, but it has the same email account as the default user that I'm currently using. So we can go ahead to show that you can use the users a little bit later to log in with them. I'll edit this account here. I'll change the email, and I will set this user to be a super user so that you can log into the backend. So now if I save this and if I try to log now, it won't work. The reason is the password in WordPress are saved with a different algorithm than in Joomla. That's why we have this plugin. We have the CMigrator plugin, which will authenticate the WordPress users that you have in your database. it will check the password against the WordPress password, and then it will update your Joomla database with the correct password for the user. So now that this plugin is published, I can log out, and I can try to log in with my new user. And there you go. I'm logged in with my new account. So now let us have a look at the categories first. As you can see, the categories have been imported, and they also kept the relationship between them. So I can log into the WordPress backend. And if we look over here at the categories, you will see that the same categories were imported and they kept the same relationship. So category 1 has a category child 1, and we have a parent category. The uncategorized category in WordPress matches the Joomla uncategorized category, and we've created a few more categories: uncategorized pages, uncategorized posts, and WordPress attachments. That are special types of posts in WordPress. We all import them, and they are stored in those categories, and you can decide what you want to do with them a little bit later. If you don't need them, you can delete all the posts in them and delete the categories. So now let us have a look in our article. If you look, let us look at this, just a normal post. You see that we have a continue reading button over here, and we have a block quote text over here. So this was migrated in our new database. This is this article over here, just a normal post. And if you look in the HTML, you will see that we have some tags from WordPress, like bow quote is something that is not recognized by Joomla. This more tag here is also not something that you generally have in Joomla. And there are also tags for paragraphs and stuff that are missing, so we don't have new lines, and everything is not formatted as it is actually on our WordPress website. Let me show you this here. So there you see it. Here we have new lines and everything, and on our website this is not the case. So I'll publish this article to the front page so that you can see it, how it looks. Let me first change the menu type. So there we have our article. It doesn't have new lines. The raw article is presented on the front page, and this is something that you normally don't want to do. So what we have in CMigrator is this option called parsing, content parsing, and we try to change the most frequent tags that we know about and that are present in WordPress to the Joomla equivalent. So when we go over here, I can start with Parse Content. We first try to parse the images. Right now we won't get any images. I'll explain to you a little bit later why that's not happening. And the next step will be to parse the content in the article. So once this is done, CMigrator outputs information about the images that were moved to your articles or not. In this case we have errors. And down here are the articles that have been changed. So let us have a look in the front end now. If I refresh the page, as you can see, I just got the read more button, and the block quote was also formatted properly. When I go in the post, you can see that I have paragraphs and everything's all there. If we have a look at our content again in the backend, you will see we now have our read more tag. We have the paragraphs, and everything is the same way as you expect it in the Joomla content. So let me close this. Normally you would also expect to have your images migrated. So there we have some posts with images. And we also have an image with a caption. Because when you go in the configuration of your migration, you will see that we have a base site URL option. Here you have to input the URL of your WordPress website. Normally when you add images to articles, they are saved with relative URLs. This means that, let me give you an example. Normally the URL to the image is something like images/WordPress content image.png. So now when we migrate the data, we also have, we've migrated the data with this string over here, and we don't know what the domain of the WordPress website is. We don't know from where to fetch the image. That's why you need to input a base URL over here. For example, my WordPress website.com, and then CMigrator is going to change when it looks for those relative URLs, it will make them to absolute URLs like this, and it will be able to fetch the images. So now the WordPress website that we are migrating is on my local host, and the WordPress installation is saved on a server with Cloud Access. So this cannot work. That's why I'm going to show you again the same thing, just on my local host. I have a Joomla 3.0 installation over here. And I'm going to again migrate the data. There's a slight technical glitch right now. I think I've deleted my username 30 minutes ago. There we go. So over here on my local host, I also have the same database, so just go ahead and migrate the same data from WordPress. So there we have it. Just to illustrate my point, if we look at the configuration for this migration, that one over here, you will see that I've inputted the path to my WordPress installation. So I'll save this, and now I proceed with the content parsing again. And now when we start to parse the images, you'll see that some articles have been changed right now. The parsing is complete, and all 3 articles have been changed. So let us have a look. There's our post, and we have our image. If you look at the path to the image, you will see that it was also migrated to your new website. It was placed in the images folder and then in the CMigrator folder. We've also migrated some of the comments that we had on the WordPress website, because on this installation I have installed the comment extension. Let me show over here. Here we have a comment, and here it is in our Joomla installation. So now let me explain what are the things that we cannot do for you right now. Unfortunately, when you have those galleries in WordPress, we currently cannot migrate them. We can migrate individual images, but we cannot migrate galleries. In this case, you see that you have a gallery link file in this item, but no images. What we can migrate, on the other hand, is the captions. As you can see, the caption in WordPress, this is this article over here. This one has a caption, and it was also transformed to a caption on our website. You can style the presentation of this caption with CSS. This is the default way captions look on Joomla 3.0. So I think that this is the whole process with CMigrator. Do you have any questions? Or did I miss something?
Well, Daniel, you know, I was speaking with Michelle, who's one of our support people, and she's attending the webinar because they get a lot of questions about migrating from WordPress. And actually, I'm going to go back to our chat. She said, it's so easy. And that's my comment as well. It seems very, very easy to get this stuff done. Folks, don't be shy. Surprisingly, 47 people today, and no questions were posted during the webinar. There is a little slide out GoToMeeting area where you can post that question and send it to us. I'll moderate those questions to Daniel. And Richard did post something. Richard wrote, if you do make a mistake with the migration from WordPress, in this case, in his first attempt, he did not migrate pictures. Can you re-migrate to the same site, or do you have to get the first WordPress migration off the original site, or can you overwrite the migrated data onto the destination site?
As I said, in the configuration we have this option to make clean migration. So when you take your WordPress tables and you put them in your Joomla installation, and you can import them, you can import the data over and over again. It will always delete the previous data that was in Joomla, and it will import the new data from WordPress. If you set it to no, then it will just add the new content. It will add it to your Joomla installation, and if you have, for example, articles that have the same name, then it will add them with a copy, and there will be a CMigrator 1 or something like this in the title, so that you can immediately figure out which article is a copy of in your Joomla database. But if you do the parsing once, so the first parsing will change the tags in your content. But if you have provided a wrong URL for the images, it won't do anything with them. It will try to migrate them, but as it cannot find them, it won't change the URL to the image. So the next time you run the parsing, it will go through the image URL and it will try to catch it from your WordPress website again. And if it succeeds, then it's going to change the URL to the image, and after that you cannot import this image again. So there should be no problem to run the parsing for a second time.
Okay. So, Richard, I think that was clear to me. Let me know if that didn't answer your question. You know, I know this works for Drupal too, right?
Yes.
And the process is very much the same, right?
It's the same process. You just have to provide your the database prefix again, and you have to say what version of Drupal you're migrating, 6 or 7, because there's a difference in the database, in the table structure with 6 and 7. The process of migration for Drupal is also a little bit easier because the content of the post in Drupal are using standard HTML. And then the part, we don't need to make the parsing. You need the parsing only to move the images to the new website. But we won't change anything in the content of the articles itself.
All right. And can I migrate content from a WordPress site and a Drupal site into just one single Joomla site?
You can. I don't recommend it. It's again with this clean migration option. If you set it to no, then we'll try to migrate your new categories, and if you find the same categories in the database, we'll create a copy of them, and then we'll move the data in the correct category. So, for example, you can migrate websites with WordPress multi-user, where you have, so you start with a WordPress 1 prefix, the next WordPress multi-user website has the WordPress 2 prefix, etc. And then you can migrate all the content from all those different sites into the same one. But it's a little bit more difficult with WordPress multi-user because the users table is not all the time correct. They are missing, for example, emails and other stuff there. So sometimes the migration breaks because of that. And as I said, if you set the clean migration to no, you can migrate several WordPress websites into the same Joomla website. You can also add a Drupal website over there, but I would actually not recommend to do this.
All right. You know, Richard commented on the clean overwrite that he got his question answered, and he sent a smiley face. And Michelle has asked if which versions of this of your component which versions of Joomla is it compatible with?
It's compatible with 2.5, 3.0, and it's also now working on 3.1. I actually was working yesterday on the tag feature, and I got it working with Joomla 3.1 Beta 4, but today I tried it with Beta 5, and there was a bug in Beta 5, so I dropped it. I moved it out of this release, and I wait for a stable release in Joomla, and in the next week probably then we'll have a new version of CMigrator that's working with Joomla 3.1.
Yeah, great. I think that's scheduled to be released today. Is that how you got it, or were you working off beta?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is, and we fixed the text bug in Joomla, so there is nothing that would prevent a CMigrator release.
All right. Don has a great question. I really like this one. And Don's talking about more complex sites. And Don writes, I know this is just a simple site, but what if there are other functionality, such as a cart or other things, that have some history besides a blog? With all the history, will all the history be brought over?
Yeah, this is a good question. Thank you about it. The thing is, we try to migrate the standard data in WordPress. We don't support third-party extension in WordPress right now. We are always open to suggestions. As I said at the beginning, what we had at the beginning was just content migration and no parsing, and thanks to user suggestions we added different kinds of imports and parsing and stuff like this. So if there are users that need a particular extension migrated, we can have a look and we can add it to the component.
Okay, very good. We'll show people how to contact you a few different ways in the future, Don. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Back to Michelle's questions about being ready for 3.0. we're just going to assume that you're just going to continually update, so when 3.5 comes available in about a year, CMigrator will also be ready.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
That's the plan.
And Bill has a good question. Not experienced with SQL, so my lack of knowledge in SQL is very apparent to me while watching this webinar. Can we ask for a webinar on databases? That's a really good question, and we're always scheduling new webinars, and that's an excellent topic. For a long time we hosted just learning the basics of Joomla webinars, but this series on extensions and Joomla news, it's getting to be quite popular, and so I am going to make a note of that suggestion, Bill, and take it into consideration and see what I can do. I'll show you our special webinar pages today where you can kind of browse through all of our upcoming events. So
also about this question, what I showed today, there is in our documentation, you have a step-by-step tutorial how to move the data from WordPress. It's over here. And sorry, this is the wrong component. Let's see, exactly this one. Preparing for migration, exactly. This is exactly the same what we did today, just step by step what you have to do to get your WordPress data.
Oh, very good. Very good. And while you're on your site, can you show us your pricing page?
Pricing page. This is the page for the CMigrator component, and you can click on Buy Now to get it. It costs 39 euros, and I guess it's 52 USD right now, but it can be a little bit more or a little bit less, depending on the currency exchange rates.
All right, and what comes with that price? What kind of phone support or access do they have if they do purchase a subscription?
There is no phone support. There is a ticket support. We have our ticket system and also form support, but I suggest that people use tickets as we're dealing with database tables, and they can create a private ticket over here, and they can share access details to their website, and only the people who are doing the support will have access to their data, and then they can help them. If people get a subscription, they get 12 months of updates and support. Normally it's so. Migration is a difficult task. It doesn't always work out of the box, but we are there to help, and so far we haven't left a customer with their WordPress website. So we've migrated them all to Joomla.
All right. Well, no more questions at this point. Folks, let us know if you have any more. Daniel, I'm actually going to steal the screen back at this point. Maybe pass it back to you if we need to. Give me just one moment. So everybody should see my screen again. And we're at CompoJoom. Remember, come to compojoom.com if you're interested in CMigrator. And Daniel, we should also talk about your other components. Just kind of mention what else you offer.
Okay, all right. If people want to see that, I can talk a little bit about the comments extension. For example, there is a free and commercial version of the comment extension. So if you buy CMigrator, you can migrate also your WordPress comments over there, and you just have to download the core version of the comment extension. It's working on Joomla 2.5 and 3.0. Actually, all our extensions are working on the latest Joomla versions. We try to update everything as fast as possible. Have a look at our demo page, for example, about the comment system. You can see that it's IX-based, it has pagination, it has BB code support and stuff like this. We also have a really cool Google Maps extension. It would be nice if you could click on the demo button down below, and people can see it in action. It's a marker management software. You can add as many markers as you have. For example, if you have a directory with restaurants about your city, you can use this extension to show those locations on the map, or hotels, and you can have directions to these locations. You can add images. You can search for specific locations. We also support Google styled maps. You can close it. You can zoom out if you want a little bit. It has KML support, so you can add files that draw lines on the map. Or you can have around 100,000 or 1 million locations. That's not a problem. The extension will handle it without any problem. And you can also have styled maps. If you click on the right, on the top, you have a styled map option. No, with the menu on the right. In the menu, go a little bit. Yeah, exactly. So you can have a custom version of the map. If you have a dark website, you can add a dark map that matches the colors of your website, for example. Yeah, so click on a location if you want, for example. And there you have it. You can have directions, you can zoom into the location, and you can click on the read more button if you want. Then you have a single view with the location, and you can also have comments below, beneath those locations. They are turned off on this website at the moment. If you go up the page, there is also the Metukio extension, which comes from Swahili and means events. So you can create events. Your registered users can create events, and they can also, your users can subscribe for events. They can pay with PayPal and come to your event. There are different options, so you can test them around on the demo website. The tiles extension is a pretty cool one. On the top, exactly. So it's just a module with those boxes here. You can have images and then you can point the users to those articles or whatever you're selling. We are using the same extension on our homepage at compojoom.com. This is the page that shows our products, and yeah.
Oh, very cool.
So basically, that's all. We have a lot of other free extensions that are targeted toward developers, but people can have a look at compojoom.com for more information.
And you know, Daniel, I know you're very active in the Joomla community. What teams are you involved in?
I'm on the Joomla extension directory. And over there I've created the Jet Checker extension. This is an extension that normally developers use to check their extensions for common errors, both security errors and stuff that the Joomla extension directory requires for your extension to be published over there. I'm also active in the Open Translators team, which is a community of individuals who translate extensions and Joomla itself. I've created an extension for this community that can help developers distribute language packs for their extensions. Actually, if you go under downloads and then down at the bottom languages, exactly, this is the extension, and over here when you click on an extension you can see the available languages for each extension. Just click on view available translations for any of them. Yeah, so people can, the translations are handled at a online platform called Transifex. And the translators, they translate over there, and when the translations are updated over there, then the translations on our website are updated automatically. So this extension is now used on different developer websites. I know Virtual, for example, are using it, and there are a few others who are also using it. And generally, when there is, Joomla is an open source project and everybody can contribute, and when we find a bug, then we try to fix it. It's the latest case was with the bug with the tags in Joomla 3.1, and I'm glad that I could contribute to the fix for this bug today.
All right, very cool. You really do have some great stuff. You really do. Remember, folks, you can find Daniel on Facebook, facebook.com/CompoJoom. Come to CompoJoom.com to find Daniel as well. And it was really fun. It was a great webinar. I just want to point out at our homepage here at CloudAccess.net, we have a lot of upcoming free webinar events. I'm going to go to our training tab and go to Joomla webinars. And we do have many free daily webinars on just getting acquainted with Joomla. We have a Learn the Basics course and a Beyond the Basics course. We also have an interactive open forum. That is most Fridays. We host that. Today's webinar, of course, was the CMigrator. On Friday of this week, we're going to host another webinar about upgrading your Joomla site from 2.5 to 3.0. In fact, let me open up our special webinars page. That's on Friday this week. On Monday, April 29th, we have the Ad Agency webinar coming from iJoomla. And this is about the ad agency extension that can help you generate money from traffic that visits your site. We also have a Joomla T3 V3 webinar coming on May 3rd that's going to run through the basics of one of the most popular frameworks for developing Joomla templates. There are many template developers out there who use Joomla T3 V3, and I expect this one to be pretty amazing, actually. We also have an iJoomla Jam Social webinar. This is the #1 social networking component for Joomla. So if you want to build your own little Facebook system or intranet for a company, Jam Social is the most popular component out there. And if you're looking for a blog, there are, of course, core Joomla blogs, blogging features, but EasyBlog from Stack Ideas is an excellent blogging system. That is an upcoming webinar. And AEC is coming up as well. This is for memberships and subscriptions. So we have a lot of great events coming up, looking to schedule a lot more. I'm going to take Bill's suggestion on a SQL webinar. We have many ideas, so stay tuned. And if you wouldn't mind, we just kind of launched this series, and I'm going to send this link to everybody right now to this page. If you didn't realize it, I just sent everybody that link. If you didn't realize it, this was a free webinar, and we want to get this page in the hand of many people as possible. So if you could share this, like us on Facebook, tweet about it, add us on Google+. You see, we just started this the other day. We'd really appreciate it. Get the word out. And as always, you can visit CloudAccess.net, launch a free 30-day trial of Joomla, and start developing. So, Daniel, thanks for a great webinar.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for having me, and thank you guys for attending, and have a nice afternoon or morning. See you next time.
All right. And Kevin says thank you for being here. Thanks, everyone, for attending. Good luck developing your Joomla site. Take care, everybody, and we hope to see you in a webinar really soon.